Alright, y'all, I'll make this quick. I'm doing a review on the Moto Fan Club motorcycle guard for the Z650. This is a Z650 that I have. It's a 2019, as you guys can see. So here we go. Okay, so it's pros and cons. I also crashed with this cage, and I just want to show you guys what you can expect, what type of protection you can expect, and what all comes with this cage for $119. And I actually recommend you buying it over something you don't have, over frame sliders, over anything that you do not have. If you don't have something, get this cage for $100. It's better than frame sliders, I guarantee you. So with that being said, you get 3 screws. The 3 screws you get, it's gonna be a very long screw that goes through the center of your frame, and it goes all the way over to the other side. Doesn't matter what side you do it on, and then come direction. So I don't know the right sides to do it on, but I know that it works. So if it doesn't, I don't even think it matters. But as you can see here, it also comes with a disc that goes in the center of that on each side. You can put that disc in there, and then you're going to put the metal frame, meaning the guard, and then you're going to put a washer, and then insert the bolt. Same on the other side, washer, no, not a washer. We're going to just put the nut on the end. Okay, then you get 2 other set of screws. The other set of screws you're going to get, one's going to be very long, then it's going to be longer than the other one. And you're going to get a short one. The short one goes on the left side. I repeat, the short one goes on the left side. This one goes on this side, and the right one goes on the longer one goes on the right side. And I'm gonna explain why. But let's talk on this side. Once you put the short screw inside of here, you're gonna have to line this up with the engine hole. It's gonna be a challenge. I recommend you do this on flat surface, no hills. I did a little trick. You can laugh at me, or if you don't think it's genius, I didn't have a motorcycle jack. So what I did was I took a car jack and jacked it under here, carefully, just enough to get the pressure off so I can adjust and put the bolt inside. And it worked for me. It took me hours without it, but took me 10 to 20 minutes doing it with it. So I'm actually happy. So that's great. All right, so also what you're gonna get with this, you're gonna get this silver spear. It's gonna be like a circular thing. It's a spear, so with a hole in it. It's gonna be 2 versions. It's gonna be a very big one, and it's gonna be, I think it's a small one, and the big one goes on this side also, and it goes with the bolt and washer. You're gonna put it inside of this, and it's gonna go all the way through to this black cylinder, and you have to make sure that's lined up. And I tapped it with a wrench to make sure that I can get it in the right space. I recommend you guys do not tap it too hard, because it will come out and you will have to get this pressed back in, which is gonna be extremely hard. So once you get that lined up, you tighten it, and then you're gonna come all the way under here. I'm gonna say it some more time. And you're gonna put that nut inside of that hole. As you can see, if you look, you see this little cubby hole right there. You're gonna put that nut in there without the screw being screwed in, because you cannot put the nut on there without the nut being in it first. So as you push it in, you want to slowly back it out just enough to fill it at the tip of the hole, and then you're gonna put the nut inside of this. Let me kind of get you the black casing, and once you do that, you're going to drill through, and it's going to come out and tighten on its own with the nut in place. And that's how you do for the same thing for this as the other side. Once you guys get that part down, it's just the other side is the easiest part. This is the hardest part. I recommend you do the right side first, and then work yourself on the left side. And what else? Oh, so I crashed today trying to bump start my bike. I ran with it with my hands and tried to do it. I didn't hop on the bike. The bike ran away from me. First time ever bump starting a bike. Lesson learned. But yeah, it crashed, and I'm actually happy that this cage was on there, because I was eager to ride and I could not get it to work. That's why I did that trick what I told you guys with the car jack. because I couldn't do it. Now this car jack needs to be the one that's like the mechanics that use, the ones that's low, you know, the low profile ones. It has the cylinder disc so you can really get under there, not the scissor jacks. Do not use those. And also I do not recommend you guys using a jacket to do this. I'm not a professional, just to put that out there. I crashed. This cage saved my bike 98% of it, and I'm gonna show you guys the damage that it did do when it fell. Mind you, this was at 10 miles an hour, wasn't really fast, so to say it really did a good job, I'm gonna say yes, because it could have cracked this case. And I do recommend this over anything. If you don't have the money to get expensive cage, it's better than nothing. $119, rather me taking it to the dealership, getting it fixed, examined, and all that mechanics cost would have spent over $200, $300, $400 just to do that. So just saying. And this would have, and it fell on the side, and that's a transmission. I believe this is the transmission case. Would not have been worth that. So the damage, I damaged my bar end mirrors, which, you know, they bar end mirrors, like they're likely to get damaged. But the bar end mirrors I actually got off Amazon, which were $21. I don't know the name of them. You probably gonna see them. They look like this, and they're actually great. Loctite, everything. You do that, these mirrors will be fine. And yeah, and also I recommend you get some better screws than these, cause these scrape really easily. And just a recommendation, if you can get them better screws, would be great. And for this side, the back side too. And if you get this side too, these screws are terrible. If you get better screws, get better screws. But as far as other damage, move over here. The tail, I scratched this up. I also scratched up my blinker a little bit, a little nick. Also scratched up this, and that's about it. That all got scratched up and was damaged, which could have been a lot worse. If I did not have this, I would have had, my tank would have been scratched, this would have been scratched, my front forks would have been scratched, that yellow thing would have came off, this would have been damaged, this whole side would have been damaged, because this whole side was laying on the ground. So if you ask me, if you have the $119 and you don't have the money to get an expensive one, go ahead and do this. Get it. It's a better investment. I recommend it. Now, if you have a better one to get a stunt cage, I also recommend getting a stunt cage. It may protect the bike a lot better than this cage does, but it is something that's better than nothing. And I do see some of the frame sliders. I recommend this over frame sliders any day. Any day, these will save more percentage of your bike than any frame sliders. I will say, if you get rear sliders with this cage, you have a combination of your bike will never get damaged if you get rear sliders. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to install pucks on this cage, so when it does fall, it doesn't eat up the metal on the cage. To try to see if I can make something happen with that, but that's just me. But if you do get, oh right, speaking of rear, it did kind of chip at this a little bit, as you can see. Kind of get that focus. It chipped at that, so it wasn't a good thing. But I'm gonna put some rear sliders on here, so the bike pretty much was protected overall. But like I was saying, get some rear sliders and get this cage, you're good to go. Or spend the money and get a $299 cage that's already looks green, and it's a stunt cage. It may protect it, I don't know, have it laid it down and see. But I recommend this. If you do that, you're good to go. So that concludes this video. I'm out.